Hello, Europe and beyond. Eurovision Ireland, and we're back with our seventh and final review of the songs from the 2022 Eurovision Song Contest. We're going to pick 6 songs apart tonight and see if we can find a winner. Now, I'll introduce us to the regular team first. We've got James.
Hi, everyone.
We've got Bogdan.
Hi, everyone.
We've got Sarah.
Hi, everyone.
That's Rich.
Hiya.
And I'm John, and I'm here with Staggy, who might be popping up. Now, we do have a guest who's an international man of mystery because he's only there coming to us by the gift of audio tonight, and it's Phil. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Oh, we're getting there. Tell us a bit about yourself, Phil.
Well, I'm Phil from On Europe. Basically, that's all you need to know. Friend of this site. Been doing this for about 888 years, and I generally get to pick songs apart. And that's why you've invited me.
Of course, yes. On Europe, one of our major partner websites out there in the blogosphere. Anyway, tonight we're going to look at the songs from, in alphabetical order, Ireland, Israel, Italy, Malta, Ukraine, and the United Kingdom. Yes. Are we saving the best till last? We'll see. Right, so we're going to kick off with Malta. Now, as you may know, in an earlier review, we reviewed a song by Malta, but then they went and changed the thing, didn't they? So Malta's earlier song has got a review and a score, if you care to look at the previous review. Tonight we're going to view this song that we're actually sending to Turin, which is called I Am What I Am. It's performed by Emma Muscat as before, and she's co-written it with Julie Orgard, Stina Kink, and Dino Medan-Hodzic. Yeah, and James is going to lead on this one.
Okay, so I Am What I Am, or as they called it at the Spanish, the Madrid party a couple of weeks ago, Yam What I Am. It was just like shouted at the screen. It was, I sort of had to stop and listen. I was like, sorry, what song's it? Oh, okay. I know a lot of us were saying in the last review for Malta that Emma's got stage presence, she's got star quality, she's got the voice, and we felt like all she was lacking was a song that sort of lived up to all this. I'm happy to say that I feel like now she's got a song that sort of is more suited to her obvious talent and her vocal quality. It's very traditional Eurovision fodder, you know, sort of embracing difference. I am what I am. Yay, we're all happy. We are the world. And it's nice. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good example of that genre. When I first heard it, I remember being struck straight away and thinking, this is the kind of thing that could potentially win in a year that was sort of slightly weaker. Because I think it's the kind of thing that everyone's going to go, oh, that's nice, and sort of responds to on some level. But I didn't sort of see it as having a sort of real wow factor to it. I still stand by that. The one thing I will say, though, is that I don't think 2022 is a particularly weak year. I think there are a lot of standout songs. So I think Malta winning might be a tad ambitious. That being said, I think it should get into the final, no problem. As I said, Emma's got great stage presence and she performs well. There's a lovely bit towards the end of the song that you can sort of hear this moment that's been built into it for like the arena to clap along to, and I think that's going to look spectacular on television. I could see it scraping into the lower top 10 just by virtue of the fact that everyone sort of goes, oh, that's nice, and you know, it'll sort of hoover up the threes and fours across Europe. Much beyond that, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's a definite improvement on their previous entry. It's not often that you get to say that about a country twice in 1 year, so that's a good thing.
James, Phil, what have you got to say about Malta?
I love Malta. It's Europe's happiest place. And so it's only fair that they rummage around in the dressing up box for some Swedish songs and come up with this one. It might as well be Swedish, but it's very Mediterranean. It's happy, clappy, as James said. It's got a resonance about it because we all believe we've heard this song somewhere before. Maybe Sweden, Denmark, or Norway might want to look in their closets to see if it was one of theirs. It's not a bad thing. It's a really, really good thing. But will it win? Unlikely. Will it do really well? Has the potential to. Who knows? Probably qualifying, I would have thought, this one.
Thanks, Phil. Well done. Over to you.
Well, I must say I'm happy that Malta decided to change the song. It was the right choice. Having said that, for me, this song is a bit too formulaic. I expect to hear what I'm hearing. I am happy that I can clap along, and I think the public will get along and will clap, will sing. It will be a really good moment to see on TV. For me, unfortunately, I don't believe it. I don't believe the song. I don't believe in the song. So I'm sorry. It's an improvement, but for me, I don't believe it.
Thanks, Bogdan. Sarah, let's hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with Bogdan. I think it was on one point. I think it was a good thing that Malta did change the song because in the previous review that where we reviewed the original song, I wouldn't have given Malta a chance to qualify on that. But now we've got a song that suits Emma's voice much more. She's a good performer, as we can see. She's got the ability to engage the audience with a song of this type. And it's a song with a meaning, it's happy, it's something that people are going to relate to. Will it qualify? Yes, I think it will. Will it win? No, but I think it may go close to top 10 if it does get through.
Sarah. Richard, what do you think?
Vocally, Emma is good. Watching the official video of this new Maltese entry, she sat at the piano most of the time, and I'd like to see that as the staging because I think that could resonate well. Bits of the official video, you could sort of hear a gospel choir in the background, and if they could have like 5 gospel singers on stage with them, I think that could work quite well. Qualifying out of the semi-final, I think she can do. When it comes to the final and where she finishes in the final, I think depends on who else qualifies for the final and where she is in the running order and who she's up against, like immediately after, or is she on after a break? That could sort of penalise her. I think it would sit happily with televoters and the jurors. So, yeah, she could be in with a chance.
Richard, yeah, definitely improvement on the song that the Malta Eurovision Song Contest picked. I'll give them that. It's a little bit on the formulaic side. It's a word I'd also got written down here, Bogdan. So yeah, I agree with you there. There's nothing wrong with it, and it's nicely uplifting in a Nordic formulaic sort of way. It's not bad. Yeah, we'll probably make the final. I just think that if your average televoter is going to vote for, say, 4 songs tops, this one might have been the 5th song they'd vote for, so might potentially miss out. I don't know. Yeah, it's a good effort, but I don't think they're on to a winner this year. Anyway, moving on. Our next song, we're staying in the Med and we're going to Israel. Now, this song is called I Am. What IM stands for. It's sung by Michael Ben David, or a variation on that name. It's written by Chen Aharani, Asi Tol, and Lidor Sardia, I believe. I apologise if I got those names wrong again. He's performing in the first semi-final, I think. I could be wrong. Anyway, Phil's going to lead off on this one. Away you go.
I'm not usually known for being grumpy. However, I hate this song with a passion, and hate is a very strong emotion. It should only be reserved for things that should burn in the fires of hell. And this is it. It is everything you would expect an empowerment song to be, sung by somebody of high camp, mincing on stage. If Dick Emery was still alive, for all of you older people, you'd be surprised that he wasn't on stage. I think I understand it. I should understand it, but I feel that the wider audience for this contest, 90% of whom aren't his target constituency, are going to go for something more wholesome, in inverted commas, as opposed to this. It's a bloke mincing around the stage with fans and everything. And, you know, that will have its cheering group, but sadly, I'm not one of them, and I can't see this qualifying for Love No Money.
Thanks, Phil. Great to hear your views. Bogdan, what do you think of the Israeli song?
Well, I think it's highly entertaining, and definitely the the viewer will watch and either enjoy it or say, what the is going on. But I think it's a fun song. Definitely, if it's played, it will be played in the Euro Club and people will dance to it. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fun show to watch.
Bogdan. Sarah, what do you have to say?
Right, well, okay. Now, should I start with the positives first? He knows how to engage an audience. Yeah, singing an up-tempo song, yep, fine. My concern is that watching the live performance, it looks cluttered and disorganized in parts, and I do think that sometimes the backing dancers are actually distracting from Michael Benn himself, and I actually sort of found myself coming to a point where I was actually drifting off after a little while and not really sort of keeping my attention focused on it. I think it's a borderline qualifier at the moment. Sorry, Israel.
Sarah, Richard, over to you.
Well, it's different from the rest of the field. Let's just say, and it's definitely camp. That's about as much as I can say for it. The juries aren't going to go for it, and whether it will qualify, it's got to be the right countries and the right viewers on that night, I'm afraid, and I can't see it making the final.
That's Richard. Yeah, and like Phil said, I sort of get the song. I sort of get where it's coming from, but I think it's a bit OTT. There are probably more subtle ways of getting it's almost another I am what I am sort of vibe going on here. And I sort of get it. My concern is that if it was already qualified to the Saturday night, it would do well. But I think that people who watch on a Saturday night are not necessarily going to be people who will be watching on a Thursday night. And that's the major hurdle it's got. A Thursday night audience might not warm to this the way a Saturday night audience would. So imbalance, and yeah, like Richard said, but the juries might not like it. I don't think it's going to qualify. Well, what do I know? James, can you salvage anything from this review?
Oh, I feel unbound to after some of those comments. What can I say? I mean, bless him, he has got charisma by the bucketful. He knows how to work a camera, how to sell the song and the performance. I think that will work in his favour. The song is very upbeat. I love the fact that in the revamp we get a bit more of a sort of Mediterranean, sort of Eastern Med sound into it. I think that's a nice thing. I sort of come along somewhere between John and Sarah, that I see the demographic that it's going towards, and there is that demographic voting at Eurovision. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be tuning in Thursday night to vote and sort of how much of a block that has. I do see it as a borderline qualifier. I think it can get to the final if enough people sort of get behind it. Oh, this is fun, and I'm sure he's going to do something outrageous on stage. I mean, just watching, I remember the national final in Israel where he's singing, and he sort of like dropped down, someone vaulted over the top of him. And I remember thinking, I don't think I'd trust anyone to do that. So, good on him for that. Yeah, I think it will definitely have its fans. I'm not sure if it does get to the final. I think it might sort of have a mid to low table finishing, but yeah, I don't think it's the worst offender in this year's contest. I think it does have its positives, and there will be people that will respond to it well.
Thanks, James. So that's our review of Israel. Right, the next song we're going to review is the host entry, the song from Italy. Yeah, big shoes to fill after Måneskin wiped the floor with everyone last year. This year they sent the song Brividi, which means shivers. And it's performed by someone you will know if you're a fan of Eurovision, which is Mahmood, and someone who you may know called Blanco. Nothing to do with the sitcom Porridge, I understand. So yeah, it's Mahmood and Blanco, and they've written the song with a guy called Michelangelo. Whoever, yeah, when he's not painting the Sistine Chapel. Anyway, this one clearly performs in the grand final. They've already got their draw order sorted out. What can they do? Bogdan's going to lead on this one.
Well, I must start saying that I am thrilled that Mahmoud is back at Eurovision, and what a song to come up with. His duet with Blanco is just like an open letter. It's like a love letter, where all the vulnerabilities are shown. The relationship is portrayed exactly like it is. You do it ups and downs. It's sensible. It's sang from the heart, and always Italy has that quality in those entries to send you dreaming, and it's like a poem. I absolutely love it, and it's been a while since a country has won back to back, and this might do it, and I can't wait to see it on Saturday night.
Well done. Sarah, tell us about Italy.
I totally agree with Bogdan. I just absolutely love this song. It's gentle, it's intimate, it's well sung by two very, very good vocalists. We know what Mahmood's capable of after seeing him in 2019. And I have to say, you know, sometimes you get singers that come back to Eurovision and their song isn't quite as good as the original song that they, but I honestly think that Italy are onto another winner here, and I wonder whether they'd better start thinking about preparations for 2023. No, I think nothing's impossible, and I think that they can really do it with this song.
Sarah, Richard, over to you.
The pair are vocally good. They harmonise well together. The emotion shines through their singing. I think it's performance ready for Eurovision. You know, we're on to a possible another winner, I think.
Yeah, I'm going to keep up with the positives on this one. It's a good quality ballad. I mean, I've always said for years, Italy could win any year they choose to. And they might be choosing to win this year as well, which would not in the least bit surprise me. You know that it's going to get a cracking orchestration. The Sanremo performance have a proper orchestra, and while we can't get an orchestra in Turin, they're going to do their utmost to make sure it's got that stringy orchestral sound, which just really lifts it. I love the sort of the contrasting voices they have, which again work so well together when you think they might not, because they contrast so much. And there's a lot of empathy, feeling in the performance as well, and you know they're going to nail it. Italy, we could be coming back to you in 12 months' time. James, what have you got to say on the Italian song?
Oh, che bello. It's very rarely you listen to a song for the first time and it just sort of takes you away in that moment. And I have had that reaction to Italian Eurovision entries before. I think Rhapsodia was sort of one for me. Just the moment it starts up, it's sort of, I mean, you just see John's face there. You know, that's the first time I heard it. I was like, oh, this is sublime. And I had much the same reaction listening to this. I think it's very daring, you know, the fact that they're both guys singing a very obviously romantic song. It's about feelings being laid bare. It's very honest, raw. And my goodness, it's just beautiful. The first time I heard it, I was just sort of mesmerized by it, and I sort of came back from it sort of slightly teary-eyed. I was like, that was magnificent. This just works on so many levels. Are we going to see Italy win back-to-back? I think we very well could. And, you know, when a song like this comes along, I think, you know, it deserves a trophy. So, you know, well done, Italy. I think you've done something really special here.
Thanks, James. And last but not least, Phil, what have you got to say about the Italian song?
This is exquisite. It is absolutely perfect in every single way. That's a phrase I don't normally say, as you've just heard with Israel. You look at it and it's a raw song with lyrics about love, but you don't care that it's two guys singing it to each other. They could be singing it about a third or fourth person for all they care. The voices don't clash. They are meshing together. Unlike several other performers, they really bounce off each other. This will go very big, very quickly in the Pala Alpi Tour. I give it about 3 seconds before every Italian is on their feet. My problem with this, and there has to be a problem with it, is Ukraine. If Ukraine were not entering a song, this will be nailed on to win. This song is not going to win. Ukraine are going to win, and I'll explain more later. However, if it was a song contest purely on its own, bravo. Hats off.
Thanks, Phil. Italy, you could be onto something. Moving on, because moving on we must. The other automatic finalist in this review is the one from the United Kingdom, a country with mixed success, particularly recently. Now, this year they're sending a song called Spaceman, and it's performed by Sam Ryder, and he's co-written it with Amy Wadge and Max Wolfgang. We don't know where in the grand final they're going to perform, but he certainly is. Sarah's leading on this one. Away you go.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled this year to actually be reviewing the UK and not feeling disappointed about what we've chosen. And let's face it, I mean, after last year, we couldn't really get any worse than we got last year. 2003 might be an exception as well, but there you go. I absolutely love this, and I love the fact that this year we've actually gone for an artist that's actually built up a huge following on social media, particularly TikTok. So he's already sort of got some, it's already got some establishment in Europe as well, so which is good. He's got 12 million followers on TikTok apparently, and he's the most followed British artist as well. And I think that they've really really sort of chosen somebody this time that can actually probably get a result for us this year. The song itself, it's modern, it's contemporary, it carries a message, and it's a song that you can easily sing along to as well, which is vitally important in this contest. It's proven that you can sing live as well, because this is always the worry. You hear the video, you hear sort of the TikToks videos, and then you think, you know, well, is he capable of carrying it live? Yes, he can, from what I've seen in the pre-Eurovision contest performances. I can see it doing a lot better than we have done recently. I think it's a bit ambitious to say that it's going to win. I know that it's proving quite popular on some of the reviews on social media. I've seen on YouTube. There's a lot of love out there for Sam, and there's a lot of love out there for the song as well. But while I think it's capable of hitting the top 10, I'm not so sure, and even the top 5, I don't think it's going to win, unfortunately, which is a shame really for Sam, because he's enthusiastic. You can see the love he's got there for the contest. And I really, really would hope that this year the UK is back. Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Richard, over to you.
When I first heard it, I wasn't sure, I will admit, but last couple of weeks I've listened to it over and over again, and I now get it. His vocals are amazing. This is one of the things that will carry him to whatever final position it will be. Let Sam do what he wants in terms of staging. I think we've already got hints from Tap Music, the record company behind it. They're listening to what Sam wants to do. And I think if the BBC do the same thing, just do what Sam wants, we could be in for a better position than, let's quite frankly say, since Blue or Jade Ewan, for instance. So we're going back 10 or so years. He hasn't just done the pre-parties, he's been doing TV shows around Europe, he's getting himself known. And if you see him on Twitter, for instance, he's doing busking in the streets in whatever country he's recording TV programs. So he's doing a lot of promotion and a lot of it off his own back as well. It's not just the BBC. He is doing a lot of the hard work himself. So he's going to do well. Like Sarah, he probably won't win it. If we did win it, I'll be disappointed, because it doesn't mean we get to go abroad next year, but that's just a mind detail on my selfish behalf. Top 5 would be a good result, I think, for the UK this year. Yeah.
That's Richard. Yeah, there's a lot of positives to take from this year. He's been putting in the miles around Europe, which is something we've not seen since Blue, and they managed the left-hand side of the scoreboard, so that's a positive. He's co-written the song, so he's invested in it as well, so he's got that on his side. It's just positive, and I know that the Eurovision fans out there are ultimately only a very small minority of viewers. They do punch above their weight. So if they think something is worth listening to, then there could be something in it. Is it a winner? I'm probably inclined to agree that it's not. But if it restores a bit of pride to the UK and gives us a bit of impetus for future years, That could only really be a good thing. As far as I'm concerned, it's the best since Molly. My only reservation is the staging. I know that maybe the BBC might have a little less involvement with how it goes this year, but no big trumpets, please, if you're watching. No big trumpets. If we get the staging right, something sympathetic to the song, then who knows? But I almost feel proud that it's the UK entry. James, over to you.
So I must admit, I was like Richard. The first time I heard it, I was a bit like, okay. There is something about it though. It does grow on you, and I think, as we've all said, it's easy to sing along to. It's uplifting. It has a message. Sam is incredibly likable. He just has one of those smiles that when he smiles, his entire face lights up, and that energy's, contagious. So I think if we can get a lot of staging that's got sort of close-up camera work on him, and he can, connect to the audience, and I think the UK are really on something here. Similarly to you, John, I have massive reservations about the staging. As soon as I saw it, I was thinking, I sort of had visions of like Igranka, like, breakdancing astronauts and things. I'm like, no, please don't do this. I like your term, something sympathetic to the song, something that complements the message or complements the feel of it. I think if this is staged well, judging by, and I know the OGA fan poll is sort of only a limited section of society, but it's picking up points in there. I feel we could see the UK return to form and return to the left-hand side of the scoreboard. I do agree. I think winning might be a bit beyond its reach at the moment, but I think it has the potential to be a turning point in the love-hate relationship between a country and the contest.
James. Phil, what have you got to say?
This is brilliant. The United Kingdom have finally remembered how to enter this contest. And it's not because of the BBC, because the BBC don't know what on earth to do with it. They've picked a record label that knows what to do. With artists, they've got somebody who is massive on TikTok, and as we in this room know, TikTok is the thing this year. He's got 12 million people. That's not going to equate to 12 million votes. Don't get too excited, but it's certainly going to be a proportion of those votes. If you've got a maximum of 20 to cast around, the UK are going to get some. The juries are going to like this because it's an original song sung by the songwriter. He's like a Labrador puppy. He's excitable. He's got a cheeky face that you want to squish. He runs about all over the place, and yet he can write and sing something with meaning. And believe you me, this has meaning. When this finishes in the top 10, which it will, the UK press won't know what to do with themselves because half of them have already written the UK coming last story. They won't know how to write a positive story on this. So be prepared for all sorts of the usual rubbish. However, this time, we and everybody out there can turn around and go, here's a good song, that's why it did well.
Thanks, Phil. And to finish off the UK, it's over to Bogdan.
Thank you, John. Well, Sam is a fantastic performer. His energy is off the chart, like absolutely contagious. You just enjoy watching him and what's going to do next. Like, yeah, he's so engaging with the audience and definitely with the camera as well. He's very likable. This is a good song. It ticks lots of boxes. So definitely welcome UK back in the top 10 and even top 5. So I'm so happy for UK this year.
Thank you, Bogdan. That's our review of the UK. Okay, the fifth song we're going to look at is the one from Ukraine. There could be plenty to be said about this one. Now, as we know, it's called Stefania and it's by the Kalush Orchestra. I'm not going to go into the backstory of this one because you've probably read it as much as you can on the interwebs. It's written by the band, fronted by Oleg Tsiuk. He's probably the most prominent name in the band, but there are others there, of course. Richard's going to lead off on this one. Where you go?
First of all, can I just say how glad that Ukraine are actually going to be able to go to Turin to perform this. You know, the band's been given special dispensation to leave the country because up until a matter of weeks ago, they were there fighting. But put that all aside, they've even still managed to promote it around a couple of countries. Now that in itself is amazing. When it comes to Stefana, we've got the traditional Ukrainian sounds like we did with Shum last year, mixed in with a bit of rap, which I'm not a fan of rap, but with this, it works for me. You've got a bit of chanting like you did with Shum last year. And I think that's what sort of won me over, you know. And again, it's performance ready from the national final performance. I can see that working on stage in Turin. For me personally, it won't win. You'll get the sympathy vote with the public voters, but I can't see the juries going for it personally in terms of big marks, because they won't want a chaotic who's going to host it next year situation more than anything else, I think. But that is just my personal opinion. I think I'll get the sympathy votes from the televoters, because yes, it will make the Saturday night final, whatever, but I just can't see it winning it.
Richard, yeah, there's a lot I could say on this one, but I'll keep it brief. There's just so much emotion in this one. There was to start with when it was chosen, but after what's happened, you know, since it was chosen, even more so. It's extra poignant. I prefer the traditional elements of the song to the rap. Not some against rap, but I prefer the traditional elements, the chanting and the flautist. They're the winners for me. I think it's probably got the hook of the contest. Of all of the songs, all of the hooks to get hooked on, it's got the hook of the contest, I think. We know Ukraine, they're going to sail through to the final. They've got a massive base to start with, and they've never not qualified for a grand final, and this will be no exception. Even though they're singing in Ukrainian, which didn't hold them back last year, is it going to win? There's a question. I'm not going to answer that. Does it deserve to win? Should it win? I think there might be better songs around, but it would not surprise me if it won. And I'll leave it at that. Over to you, James.
So we know Ukraine know how to do Eurovision. They're one of the countries I look forward to seeing on stage most every year, because you just know that it's going to be brilliant. I've never watched a Ukrainian stage and thought, that wasn't quite as good. They always bring something different, something unique. I love the fact that this song's in Ukrainian. It's got strong traditional elements. Rap, I admit, I'm not a huge fan of either, but I think when you combine rap with something very traditional, like we had with Origo in 2017, Ljubavier from Bosnia in 2016, I think that complements it, because you've got something very traditional, you've got something a bit more modern and edgy in there. They work together. As I said, love the fact it's in Ukrainian. I'm torn because part of me thinks that this is very easily, contender to top the televote. I think in terms of sympathy, I think everyone across Europe, no matter who they're voting for, who they like, I can imagine at least one of those 20 votes is going to head towards Ukraine, and that will accumulate around Europe. Juries, I'm not sure they'll respond to it in such a way. Admittedly, it had crossed my mind, as Richard said, that the EBU might want to sort of avoid the potential headache of hosting next year. But I also think, just from the point of view, like we saw with Shum, juries responded to it. They said, yeah, okay, that's good, but it sort of came a bit further down. The question will be if it will do what 1944 did and sort of come high enough in both votes that it will pull ahead in the combined one. That's going to be the interesting part. But yeah, it was a very emotional moment in Mill Street in 1993 when we heard Hello Europe, Sarajevo calling it, and I suspect this year when we hear Hello Europe, this is Kiev calling, I suspect there won't be a dry eye in the house.
Thanks, James. Okay, Phil's going to explain why Ukraine's going to win.
Phil is going to explain why Ukraine's going to win, because you lot didn't, and I've got no shame. This is going to win the jury and the televote. It's going to win the jury principally because, insofar as you can win the jury, insofar as the fact that there are going to be 205 people whose names are going to be released into the public domain, and how many of them are going to want to be associated with not putting Ukraine 1, 2, 3, and 4. You know, they are, if you put Ukraine in its rightful position, 8, 9, 10, 11, you are going to be vilified. Can a juror really stand that? With regards to televoting, you don't get televoting sympathy votes. Doesn't show on the board that they're sympathy votes, it just shows that they're votes. There will be more than the odd vote cast towards Ukraine. In fact, there will be several hundred voting bucketfuls towards Ukraine. This is going to win even if they stood there and sung the phone book. The song is irrelevant. What matters here is that Europe are going to go, Ukraine, please, rank it first. It's going to win by a country mile. And then the headache becomes 2023. What do you do with the contest? Because you can't take it to Kyiv. Where do you take it? Do you give UAPBC the broadcasting rights like Australia and say, pick a country, any country will host you? What do you do? Does it deserve to win? On the song alone, no. Deserves to come 5th, 6th, 7th, as I've already said. Do not be surprised if this hits more than 600 points.
Thanks, Phil. Bogdan, follow that.
I was thinking, what can I say after that? Like, I'm speechless. My thoughts were, this is going to be definitely the televote winner. I'm not so convinced it's going to be the jury winner, but I can see there in top 5, top 6. And that might just be enough to win the contest. We shall wait and see. I like the song. It deserves to do well. What else can I say? We shall see on the night.
Well done. And finally, Sarah.
Well, I think this is definitely going to go big in the arena. Let's face it, it's going to be a similar scenario to Bosnia and Herzegovina in 1993. And I think the moment they are on that stage, there will be a standing ovation. There's no doubt about that. As for the song itself, in any other year, I wouldn't have had this in the top 10. Would have probably let alone sort of any chance of winning. But as Phil's already mentioned, you've got the thing with, you've got sort of the sort of thing that, yeah, there's going to be some sympathy votes there. And, the juries, are they going to want to be seen, to be marking down something, when we got things that are going on as they are. I think I love Ukrainian songs. I've always think they always bring something different. They always bring something unique, and they always bring their own culture to the contest as well. And I think, yeah, I mean, I like it, but I wouldn't put it in my top 5 as normal. But I think it will get into the top 5 without any difficulty this year.
Sarah, Ukraine, we stand with you. Eurovision Ireland stands with Ukraine, of course. But we've got to move on. And our final song of the reviews has to be Ireland. To leave Ireland, always saving the best to last. We'll soon find out as we go around the team. I'm going to kick off on this one. It's called That's Rich, even though he's over there somewhere. It's written by Brooke, for my Brooke, and written by her along with Izzy Warner and Carl Zine, and it's performing in the second semi-final. Now what I've got to say with it, there's nothing wrong with this. Nothing wrong with it at all. It's nice and bouncy and upbeat and modern, and it's got a sort of I don't know, girl power sort of vibe to it. You're not going to grind me down, that sort of thing. We've seen what we think might be the staging, but if you check out Eurovision Ireland's interview with Brooke at the London Eurovision party, there could be more to come, but she wouldn't tell us what they were. So we're going to have to wait until we start seeing those rehearsals in Turin before we find out. I'd love to see it get through to the grand final. I think the second semi-final it's in is it's a bit of a bloodbath, and there are going to be some worthy songs that miss out. I just hope this isn't one of them. I don't want it to miss out, because it'd be nice to see Ireland back in the final again. Not a winner, I'm afraid, but we'd like to see Ireland give it a good go and give a bit more heart back to RTE, that they can come up with the goods. Anyway, over to James.
So I have a bit of a difficult relationship with this song, because the first time I heard it, I was like, I'm not sure I like it. Seeing it on stage, I'm still not sure. It is catchy, it is memorable. I wake up most mornings singing it, which is slightly frustrating. But there is something about it that gets into people's heads, so I can see that working. And as John said, that sort of empowerment thing, you know, we all like that sort of thing. If, you know, haha, I'm so much better off without you, when we're not the you that's being referred to, you know, everyone likes that. Brooke's got the swagger, she can perform. I think she's going to be quite a lot of fun to work with in Turin, and so I'm sure the team members that are going to Italy are going to have an absolute blast with her. As we've said, semi-final 2 is quite a difficult one, and just in terms of numbers, there are going to be at least 2 or 3 songs that probably should reach the final that won't. I'd like to see Ireland get back to the final, as we said, with the UK and the BBC, sort of, you know, to make the broadcaster realize, oh, actually, we can do this. And I think it'd be nice to sort of boost RTE a bit and just say, you know, hey, actually, you can, you know, get back into a Eurovision final. It's not going to be a straightforward road, but we wish you all the best, Brooke. We'll see what happens.
That's James. Let's hear what Phil has to say about Ireland.
It's a great idea. The song's a fabulous idea, you know, empowerment and all this, that, and the other. I just think it misses it. I just think it misses the boat. She's got a faux American accent that does nothing for me. It's a theme that's been done to death a million times, and it's been done better, and it's arguably been done better in this very contest. RTE are making a pariah of themselves by a national final having 5 people of less talent, and then Brooke, can we say that? We can go with that. I just think she won by default. I think that the Irish broadcaster are preparing their excuses for when this doesn't qualify, because it isn't going to. Their head of delegation is going to say what he said last year, that you need money to win the Eurovision or to qualify for the final. No, you don't. You need a good song. If this was a decent song, she'd stand a chance. It's not. She's going to miss out. Ireland are going to wonder why. The Irish public are going to wonder why. Your viewers are going to wonder why. It's pretty simple. Get a better song.
Thanks, Phil. Bogdan, I'll say it again. Follow that.
Yeah, my turn to follow that. Well, I do have to agree sadly with Phil. It's not the best song that we've heard. It's average, but I still enjoy it. And Brooke can get that energy on the stage, which I hope is gonna show. What I'm also hoping that we won't see any more pajamas on the stage. Or if you still do pajama, do like, I don't know, some animal onesies, whatever, do. Bring the dinosaur, bring whatever, bring the Flintstones, bring something to make it more spectacular, because what I've seen so far in the pre-parties, it's not enough. It's fun, it's okay, but it stays there. It's okay. And okay can be in trouble to qualify.
Thanks, Bogdan. Sarah, tell us what you think.
Oh dear. I'm afraid I have to go with Phil and Bogdan on this one. It's a theme that's been played many, many, many times, and as Phil says, it's been done better. The song itself, it's another up-tempo number, but it's not got the ability to stand out in the way that the other up-tempo songs in the contest are this year, I have to say. I'm just a bit concerned at how the staging is going to be as well. If Ireland mess up the staging on this one, you know, then it's just going to look chaotic, and which is a shame really, because I think Brooke's got a lot of enthusiasm. She obviously wants to do well. My other concern is her vocals as well, because there's been some quite weak vocals in the sort of pre-Eurovision sort of concerts. They've been getting better with each performance, and if she can nail it on the semi-final night, she might just be in with a chance there of qualifying. But unfortunately, I think it's going to be a struggle. It's going to take something big, I think, to get this into the final. So.
Thanks, Sarah. And finally, that's Rich. What have you got to say?
I'll start off with the one small negative that Sarah picked up on, and Bogdan. These pre-parties, yes, the vocals haven't been great, but what we've seen on the internet is fans filming it. It's not a TV production with like your high-tech camera work, sound and everything. So what we're seeing on social media won't be the quality we see on the Thursday night and hopefully the Saturday night. Now I'm going all positive now. When we met Brooke at the London Eurovision party, yes, watch that interview again because she does hint about the staging being bigger than the national final, purely because the stage there is tiny. She is full of character. If she can bring that character to the stage, she will win people over, but she needs to do that, especially on the Thursday night, because like we've said, that semi-final is going to be a bloodbath. But if she can win those people over with her pure, fantastic character, she will do well. But if it does make the final, sadly, I can't see it going anywhere.
Thanks, Richard. So that's the review of the 6 songs we're going to look at. Right, we reviewed all 6, and now what we're going to do is score them. Now, as you think, there are 6 of us here. We're each going to give it a score out of 10. Each song a score out of 10, and we're going to ignore the worst score. So it yields a score out of 50. And you'll see the scores appear above and below us as they're added on. So we're going to start with Malta. So, James, what's your score for Malta?
I'm going to give Malta a 6.
6 for Malta. Phil, your score for Malta?
7.
7. And Bogdan?
6.
6. Okay. And Sarah?
I'll give it a 6.
And another 6. And Richard?
7.
7. And it's getting a 6 from me as well. So that gives it a score of 32 out of 50. Next is Israel. Phil's leading off on this one.
1.
1.
1.
Bogdan?
I'll give the 6.
6. And Sarah?
5.
5. Sarah? And Richard?
I'm starting to think an over generous 6.
You score how you feel. I'm only going to give it a 4. And James?
I'm going to give it a 6.
6. So that, we're discounting the 1 point. So that gives it a score of 27. Okay, on to Italy. Bogdan, what's your score for Italy?
10.
10. And Sarah?
10.
10. And Richard?
9.
9. Okay. I'm giving it a 10. And James?
It's a 10.
10. And Phil?
Well, you can't discard this score. 10.
10. So they score a top of the shop 50 because we're discarding a 9 points. Who'd have thought it? Right, next is the United Kingdom of Stuff. Over to Sarah.
8.
8. And Richard?
9.
9. Yeah, it's worth an 8 from me. And James?
7.
7. And Phil?
8.
8. And Bogdan?
8 from me as well.
So we're discounting James's 7 to give it a score of 41. Not bad, actually. It's probably Yeah, a very good score for the UK. Moving on to Ukraine. Richard.
8.
8. Yeah, it's worth an 8 from me. And James?
Dim, 8.
8. And Phil?
You'll probably discount this, 4.
4. Okay. And Bogdan?
8.
8. And Sarah?
8.
8. So that gives them a score of 40 because we're discarding the 4 points. And finally, Ireland. It's getting a 6 from me. From James?
Give it a 4.
4. And Phil?
Can't get enthused about it, 4.
4. And Bogdan?
I give it a 6. I want to believe. I don't know.
6. And Sarah?
6.
6. And finally, Richard?
7.
7. So we're discarding one of the 4s, which gives them a score of 29. So our 6 ranks from 6th to 1st. In 6th place, we have Israel on 27. 5th place, we have Ireland on 29. In 4th place, on 32, we have Malta. In 3rd place, we have Ukraine on 40. In 2nd place, we have United Kingdom on 41. 2nd place in the review. And our winner, our clear winner on a 50 out of 50 is Italy. So well done to them. Now, what we'll do is put all those scores with the other songs, and we will see if we can pick a winner. But I'm just going to finish by going around the room. And the question is, could a winner come from any of these 6 songs? James, what do you think?
I think there are 3 songs in here that could potentially win under the right circumstances. I think Italy's a very clear winner. I think even Ukraine and the UK could surprise us.
Oh, same question.
Yes, I think there's 2 songs here that are worthy winners, but there is only one horse in it, and I've already said which horse that is.
Phil, Bogdan, what do you think?
Italy or Ukraine, for the reason mentioned. But I won't be surprised by accident if UK make it a block like like this.
Accidental winner. That'd be funny, wouldn't it? What would the BBC do then?
Right.
Probably.
Sarah, could a winner come from these 6?
Definitely. Italy, Ukraine, and I think a very dark horse, UK.
Richard, over to you.
I agree with everybody else. It's the Ukraine or UK.
Ukraine or UK?
It's the Ukraine or UK.
Oh, Italy. Sorry. Yeah, I've got to agree. Italy and Ukraine are definitely going to be in the mix. But who knows? The UK could spring a surprise. And of course, as we're Eurovision Ireland, we keep our fingers crossed for Ireland. So that's our final review. I hope you've enjoyed the previous 6 as well as this one. Check them out if you've not. If you're a new viewer to our site, welcome. If you're a regular viewer, we're glad you're back. You can find us on EurovisionIreland.net. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram. And I think that's it. Yeah, there may be others out there as well. So it's going to say goodbye from the team. So it's goodbye from James.
Bye, everyone.
From Bogdan.
Bye, everyone.
Sarah.
Bye, everyone.
Richard.
Bye.
From our special guest star, the mysterious Phil.
Bye.
On Europe. Thank you for joining us, Phil. And from me and John, and of course, Staggy. Stay tuned for more coverage from Turin. But until then, goodbye.